Hey guys, I feel like my wife feels about puppies today. She just loves them. They're so cute, cuddly, and that's kind of how I feel about these little guys. I just got these in. These are the little, I believe they're 1-inch Merit Power Lock discs for my little 1-inch arbor. And it's just so damn cute. I just want to hug it, kiss it. It's the sweetest thing ever, really, to be honest with you. You can see the size difference there. Of course, the cool thing about this is, like I said before, you want to use this bigger one. Let me pop this off. Take this little arbor here and just pop this bigger one on it. And that's what you got. And then when you're getting into places, you can flex it down like that. You can work radiuses and the whole deal. And then this little guy, I mean, you can get up into little tiny spaces that you may not be able to get to with the regular grinder. Had I had this one, I'd have been able to get up into these little areas here to get that rust, and maybe a little tighter up into there. I'm still going to end up having to blast this, but you see what I'm saying. You can get into little tiny areas where that bigger one's not going to want to fit. Anyway, most of you guys know that, but for the new guys that are always asking about what I got going on with the tools and what I like to use, and just a little more heads up on that. Yeah, that's about 5 minutes. That's at the clean table. 5 minutes later, that's what it looks like after I start working. That's just the way it goes for me. I just go crazy. Just shit flying everywhere. Yeah, grinding dust, the whole 9 yards. But I have kept the shop relatively clean, other than all the grinding dust. But I need to do something with that. Still haven't messed with that. I've still been playing with this. I'm going to go ahead and take this inside rail off here now and get this all fitted up like it's supposed to be, and kind of get a good look at it. Maybe fit the inner fenders up and kind of, you know, make everything jive like it's supposed to. Alright, sorry about the background. Got the little girl out here. So I went ahead and set this back under the car, kind of take a look at it. Kind of show you guys each step as we go, how things are looking, how things are sizing up basically. That's about where the car would sit, give or take, just maybe a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch probably. You can see I went ahead and went to the bigger washers in here. These are just sitting in here right now, so they're not locked down, so I can pull them back out. And then you can see how much space I have in here for the mini tubs to come in. Same on this side. Sits nice, sits flush with the inner rail. So same on this side. There's a little bit of gap here, but I think the wheel tubs are either that or I've got the car just a little bit too far, the bottom of the car too far back. But I'm going to guess those mini tubs are just a little bit, maybe come out a little bit more. If not, I can always push the car forward a little bit, no big deal. But yeah, it's pretty close to where it would be sitting. So, and these are sitting pretty well where they need to be in here. So I could literally take my rear panel and my sides and put in here, kind of get those set up. I think the next thing I'm going to do is take these inner tubs out. I don't see any reason for them to stay. What I have done though, for future reference, should I need it to make these go back, you know, where they're supposed to be, or, you know, for reference or whatever, I went ahead and scribed a line here, scribed a line here, so that when I take them off, if I need to set them back up in there to get a reference point for my mini tubs, I'll have them, and I'll know that about where this radius is coming down below this. And also marked on the inside of here, because I got to cut these off too. I'll take them off here and they'll drop out with these. But later I'll have to modify these because the tubs do come up higher, and so. But right now I want to get these out of here so I can actually set the tubs in there, get them mocked up, clamped up, and get a look at what it looks like. Maybe even put the outer tubs on and kind of get an idea. Maybe slide the tire underneath to kind of see where that's going to be and what I'll need to do. But yeah, I got a lot of spot welding to do, or cutting, because I got to cut all these off, and then these here off. And then in here I've got to redo my braces because as you can see how I did here, I tacked these braces to here. So what I'm going to do is, because since I have this now, I'm going to take these braces loose here and here and down here and move them back up over into here. That way it'll give me room for those tubs to sit in. Also, I'm going to have to cut this brace out before I can set the tubs in because it's going to come up and hit. So I'll need to do that also. So that's kind of where I'm heading next. See you guys. I'll give you a quick deal of my idea here. So I measured this tire out from the floor across with a flat edge. It's 14 inches exactly from the floor to the outer bubble here, and I know if it has a little bit of air in it, may grow a little bit more, but probably not a whole lot more because these are pretty low profile tires. So I'm thinking right now this whole lip, the whole thing comes out right down here. If I port the camera right down here on this edge. So this takes out the inner and the outer completely gone. Under here is a bevel on these 68 Camaros. I'll show you on this one. Okay, this bevel runs where I just cleaned, right through here. So that outer fender well comes in and fits up against this snugly. So if I do 5/16 plug welds every 1.5 inches or so down through there to the outer to the quarter panel, that should, now this is just a thought right now, that should get me where I want to be as far as clearance here. Now what I'm planning on doing is taking a piece of rod like this, maybe a little fatter, and finishing that off, finishing that edge up in there and making it nice and round. Okay, it's where it's not just a jagged edge. I mean, I'm not a hack, so, well, at least in my opinion. I guess in some people's opinion I might be, but I'm going to finish it off to where it looks professional, basically. It looks nice. But right now that's what I'm thinking, and like I said, this fits right in here with that pretty nicely. Slides down in there, and if I can get a hold of that and set that like that, that would actually give me 15 inches from the inside of that all the way to the outer edge of this, basically. So that leaves me with almost 1 inch clearance, which would be a 1/2 inch on each side, which is probably the bare minimum you'd want, but that's not too bad. Now, the only issue I'm going to have is I've already got my axle cut, or my rear housing cut. So I'm going to have the wheels made to order to fit the exact backspace of what I need with the tires and the whole thing to make that work, and that's going to be tricky. I think what most people do, and I think we talked about this before too, is they get their tires up underneath the car exactly where they want. They put their brakes on, they put their calipers, or their rotors and all that stuff on, and then they measure from there across, and then they have their rear end cut. Well, if I have to, I may have to have this sectioned again a little bit, cut and moved in, just depending on what happens. But I'm thinking a 12-inch wheel is what I'm going to have for a 345 tire. And I'd like to have the dish set somewhere in the middle of it, so to where it's balanced, you know. I mean, I think if you go too far that way, then you're kind of messed, you know what I mean? I don't know, I could be wrong, I'm not an engineer, but just in my opinion, seems like the center would be about where you'd want to go. So on a 12-inch wheel, you're going to have a 6-inch backspace or whatever it comes out to be, 5-point whatever, or however they do it, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking right now. And I'm just throwing this stuff out there just as a thought. And maybe somebody else has some ideas and say, no, I've tried that, it doesn't work, or whatever. Because it seems like to me, everyone I've talked to, even DSC said the biggest you want to go on these, and they know, I mean, they're the masters. The biggest you want to go on this is a 315. They said if you go 335s, you're really pushing it. Like, you're going to probably have issues. But I don't know if they consider cutting this and doing what I'm doing here into that equation, because that's a lot of lost area. That's just crazy, and I'm not planning on putting any chrome rings or none of that kind of stuff. So literally, that's going away. That gains me an inch, minus whatever the thickness of that is, or whatever to make it roll and look, you know, decent. So yeah, I mean, just kicking it around right now. We'll see what happens. I need to pull that out and get those pulled off there, but my little girl's out here, so it just makes too much noise with that air drill that I have. So I probably won't be able to do that till tomorrow if I can get out here. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. Everything's looking real good. I'm real happy with everything so far. You guys see anything I'm missing, you know, that I'm not thinking about, holler at me. But so far, so good. So, all right, you guys have a good evening.